Hello and welcome to Wikipedia Weekly Network here where Albin Larsson and I, Jan Ainali, are editing Wikidata live. Hello Albin, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I've done a ton of Wikidata stuff this week, so I have room for even more. And how are you,
Nice.
Jan?
I'm great as well. I have not been doing so much Wikidata today, but I have been doing some climate things. I was out in a demonstration earlier today. There
Oh,
was one here in Amsterdam, and then we had a sustainability talk on Wiki Indaba as well, me and Daniel Mitchen. So I feel very, very prepared.
thematic.
Yes. So we have the theme of COP26, the climate conference going on in Glasgow. What are you planning to do with it?
I'm thinking to look at the various COP we have had throughout the years. They have been going on during my entire lifetime, for example. I was kind of going to query, maybe make timelines on things like participant data, maybe if we have something that's caused by the conferences, like legislation or something. Do a bit of querying and exploring, and I believe we might have a couple of hiccups, seeing a couple of odd things, and trying to just make sure that the data is top notch. And you, Jan?
Nice. I will focus on the item for the conference that is going on, but there might be a need for some rabbit holes, I think. Doing some of the research, we'll see how far deep into those we go. But the main focus, I think, will be on this one, and hopefully it will be good enough for you to query for. Get some good results
Indeed.
from that, at least. So I'll be making some prep work for you then. So I guess it makes sense if I start by sharing my screen here. So this is the item for the thing going on. It's called 2021 United Nations Climate Change Conference, which sort of doesn't really, how do you get from there to COP? But COP is Conference of Parties. And I think we might come to that perhaps later in a title or something. Now it's a little bit messy here with, I have several different kinds of user scripts in the top, but the first thing I notice is that, of course, it's missing a description in Swedish. So I'll edit that first. And it's already named United Nations Climate Conference, so I'll name this right. I don't think this one is very easily confused with something else anyway, unless
Indeed.
there's something, an article in a newspaper or something like that called the same. So
Do you want to tackle the English one as well? It seems like one that could be improved.
yes, at least it's to be held. I
Exactly.
think we,
So we got this concept of descriptions being timeless in Wikidata,
yeah,
and I think this was just a great example. Therefore, I'm
yeah.
highlighting it.
So I'll call this a similar. So 26th climate conference in Glasgow. I think that's enough. We don't need dates. This is a full sentence.
Indeed.
So that should be good enough. So let's fix that. Thank you. All right. So that's a start. And then we come down here to the basic one, the instance of. And yes, it is a convention, but this is not usually how we model recurring events. We have done a few for a number of times. So what we will put in here is that we're going to put in two different values. We're going to put in the recurring event, and then we're also going to have it's an instance of this series of events. That's how we usually do it. So you can find it in any number of ways there. So we're going to edit this one. And yes, it is convention, but we're going to have that anyway later. So we're going to call it recur. Current event edition. That's the one we want. Always a bit tricky when you change from doing research in Swedish and then trying to edit in English. All right. So that's the first one. And then we're going to see if we can find that's one let's see if we can just add a value here. And if I just write cop here, do we do conference of parties? That's a generic one.
I think it's called UN Climate Conference, the item you're looking for.
Let's do it like this. I'm gonna go from the Wikipedia article because this one goes to this one, and then let's see if I remember Shift Alt G, shortcut to go to Wikidata. Alt Shift E G. I might have something conflicting here. I had to press the button. So this is the generic. So the series, we're going to reuse this one. So there we go. That's a good start. And then we have the logo image there. All right, interesting. We have the chairperson. That's not a good source. It's better than nothing, but I think I actually have let's accept all the cookies here. I'll trust the UN on this one. I don't get to accept it. Why? There we go. But here we have the same date that he was appointed. So let's use this as a source instead. So I'm going to actually edit here. I'm going to remove the import. Retrieved today. Well, since it asks for the title so nicely, I'm going to use this one. And this is in English. And then I actually had prepared a little bit here by asking Internet Archive to archive this. So I do have an archive URL, and I did this today as well, just a few minutes ago. We'll add the archive date here. Right, that's certainly an improvement of the source. Country, United Kingdom, that's correct. Here's an interesting part. We have the location, Glasgow, and we also have the specific convention center it is in. And I think this one should be enough, the center, because that would mean that you can traverse your way down. But you can only do that if the sex center says it's in Glasgow. So let's check that.
But do we consider like the event as a whole to just be in that center, or do we consider it a bigger thing? Because I know they have like had side events around in the entire city that's even official. So that's why I'm wondering if
Right, yeah, we could perhaps have both.
I actually think
Yeah.
that both should be there.
Yeah, let's just
But
see if
let's
this one
check this anyway.
is in Glasgow. It's not, so we could add that. So and place here, location, Glasgow. That might help someone else later on. But you're right. I think there are things outside of that, even though the main negotiations are in there. Could we qualify that with something? Let's see.
What is it called? It's called has quality, and then set that to. I mean,
main venue.
Yeah, but it becomes very abstract. Maybe that one has
Let's see if
quality
we
main venue songs.
don't have
Okay.
official venue, perhaps. No. All right.
No.
Let's skip it.
I think we would end up with something very unique,
Yeah.
modeling wise.
I don't know about the location. The main subject is, yeah, that's all right. Maybe that's actually even more cause, and here we want something like climate mitigation. Maybe let's keep it. It follows the 2019, which is correct because this one should have been last year. And here we have something interesting. So the dates, start time and end time, were edited before, and very nicely with the nature of statement expected. Now, of course, we can remove the expected, but we also need to change it because it didn't start at 1st of November. So I think if I have daily program here, it actually started on the 31st of October. And I think also that I should, if it had a source, I would have kept this. But now, and said the date was changed, but now it doesn't even have a source, so I don't even know this was ever really true. So I'm just going to change it here. So we're going to change this one to 21/10/31. We're going to remove the nature of statement, but instead we're going to add a reference. All right. And then, of course, we don't know this to be sure yet, so we'll have the expected. We expect this to end on Friday next week. Official website, yes, in English and in Italian. Nice. The hashtag.
I wonder, looking back at the dates, if we should somehow mark that the event has been postponed. Because as you mentioned, it was intended to be held last year in Glasgow already.
Yes.
And I think we can model that. I think maybe we can have a look. Yeah.
I think we know how to do it as well.
Orchard-wise, we could use the Olympics. I would imagine that being a good example.
Yeah. So let's actually open up the Olympics and look at it. So that would be I think it's 2020 Summer Olympics. Here's the bug again that I sometimes, so it's underneath my search there. So I'll have to click that's I haven't made a bug report for that yet. And yes, Nicholas says it's like for the Olympic Games. Yeah, it's the same story. Oh, very nice. So we should add the original start time, reason for deprecation, rescheduling, and statement is subject of not COVID-19 for the Olympics, but impact of COVID-19 pandemic or the COVID-19 pandemic. So let's find the original date. I think that's the first. We we might have lost Albin, or he just turned the camera off to do something.
I think my camera. I was just debugging it and now realizing that the camera had turned itself off.
Yeah.
I'm here. I was just wondering why I had disappeared from the stream.
So let's see what we have a source saying here. So this one only said November. Maybe it said that on this news page. If we go back to the first come on, internet. This is still too early. This was in March, then it didn't do it. So it should be something happen in April, I guess. That's what we're looking for. There we have it, postponement. So let's see if it says. No, that one didn't have the original dates.
I'm also only able to find November.
Yeah. If someone wants to look for it, please go ahead and we'll add that. Otherwise, I'll do it afterwards. But I think it would be nice to have that later on.
Indeed.
But at least besides that, I think what we have looked decent. So now let's see what else we can add to this. I think there is quite a lot that I wanted to add. So we want to add also this as a part of the series. So we'll add a new statement here. That's part of the series. Oh, that'll make it show up. And then, of course, it's named COP26, so we should have the edition number of it.
Right, and that we should also have as a qualifier on the instance of, I believe.
You think?
Yeah, I think it. What is it called? Series or
Ordinal?
ordinal?
Let's see how the. That's not how they had it here.
No, they have follows and follow by. But let's have a look
Let's
at the
check
former COPE.
Let's check the 84th Academy Awards and see if how they do it, because it seems like they have a number in the title.
Oh,
They
that
don't
had
have
none.
it there. They have it the edition number as well. Mm.
What if we look up COPE 19?
Uh-huh.
Just to ensure that it's similarly modeled.
Didn't have an alias. Oh, or is it underneath here? It is underneath there. Ah, stupid bug.
Let's
Oh,
see.
so this has the
Node.
follows and followed by in here.
Right.
That's a convention I don't personally like.
No, it's the same here.
Yeah.
That's so odd.
Yeah. No.
Oh, right. It's COPE 19. I was thinking about COPE 25, of course, which was in 2019.
Yeah. So COP25 has it like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's
And
check.
then,
25.
there we go.
Right. So like this. I'll
Yeah.
buy that. Yes. So let's put it in the top here.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the followed and followed by as qualifiers, but this one I find very useful because we also says it's like an instance of,
Yeah.
but at the same time it's a conference.
Yeah. Then the tricky part that I have trying to figure out who is officially the organizer. And it's called the United Nations. And some of the pages are on the UNFCCC platform. But if you look at the Wikipedia article, it says that the organizer is United Kingdom and Italy. And I think that is actually what I want to use because it's UN Climate Change Conference UK 2021 in partnership with Italy. So I'm gonna go with organized by UK and Italy. But if someone has a strong suggestion from something else, I'm willing to listen to it. But I'll add that at least because I think that's sort of correct in at least some kind of level.
Yeah. I think I've seen some of them having like all three. So
That
actually,
might be.
it's not the United Kingdom, it's the government of the United Kingdom, I believe, as well.
Ooh, do we have a? All right. Is it though?
I think so. I have seen the modeling on ultra items like this, and it makes way more sense to me than the country. A country can't organize an event like this, in my opinion.
Yes, but should we then specify which government? Is it the
Yeah,
Boris
that
Johnson
would.
government? The like?
I mean, I imagine they have some type of committee in practice, which one could theoretically add or something like that. But otherwise, I would just go with government.
Yes, but I'm thinking, do the UN say it's the government of the United Kingdom, or do they just say like it's the UK? You figure it out.
Oh, I can't imagine they would just say the
Like,
UK to the country itself.
I mean, perhaps they would say like it's okay if it's the Queen who does it.
But she is part of the system, so to say.
Yeah. All right. So the government of the United Kingdom it is, and then we'll see. Do we have a government of Italy? We do. All right.
Nice one.
Yes. Oh, this was an interesting suggestion. Work location for sex center. I think work location. Let's check that. But I think that's not meant for organizations or or events. I think that's meant for people. But let's check B937. See if it gives us any clues. That would be interesting. Really slow. Well, it says organizations. So let's check that. So these are people, workplace of. I think we will get a warning here if we used it with the property constraints. So I think I'm gonna skip that one. It feels a little bit off as well to me. It's not the conference going to work. It would be nice though. Then I was really thinking hard about, because we have a property called participant, but there's so many notable participants, so I don't think we want to put it in the list, because that's going to be hundreds, maybe thousands of statements. So I don't even want to go there. But we do have another nice one to indicate something. So we have the number of participants. So that one we're going to use. And I tried to dig this one up, and I had a very hard time finding out the official number. And I was thinking that it should be released somewhere, and it apparently, wait, maybe there's, well, I'll zoom in a little bit here so you can see. It seems like they have released some statement here about how many it is, but they only round it up in the article to 40,000, and they don't have a link, and I couldn't find it on the official page either. So I'm going to say use this as a source to say 40,000 with a. I don't know how we can do the precision on this, but let's see. So if I go 40,000, we have the unit. No, so no unit. Do we have the nature statement estimate?
Is it an estimate, or is it just a rounded number?
Rounded vowel.
Tricky one.
Yes. Rounding. Yes, let's do with that. And then we have the retrieve today and reference URL. There we go. Did I prepare? No, I did not. Yes, and I'll publish this one, and then we have an interesting. So I wasn't very clear here before, but yes, Glasgow and Sex Center, if it's in Glasgow, it's not very structured data, and that's why I first wanted to delete Glasgow. But as Albin pointed out, it's in Sex Center and other parts of Glasgow, and that's why it makes some sense to have them both, since we don't know the other places in Glasgow right now. But if we could add the specific 4 or 5 places, then that would be better. So feel free to, if you find any good sources for where they are, to improve it.
Yeah, because I remember reading the news and remembering that they needed to travel between various centers by car. And therefore I know that it's not only in that center.
Yes.
That's the reason.
Yeah.
We got a warning there, Jan. Let's see. I imagine it doesn't like the rounding.
Uh-huh.
let's see this.
So let's see what we get from the. There might be some hypothesis.
Yeah, let's read this list.
Possibly.
That's incredibly generic.
Approximation. That's a good one. That's
Maybe.
what I want to say.
Circa. We got a lot of things here.
Oh, we have even better. Less than, because he said almost. So let's use less than.
That's a good one.
That's even good with the sources. Perfect. All right. I'll just do one more edit here because I found one thing that I thought was interesting to add, and that is we have a very underused property because it's also very hard to use. But I think it's something like project has. No, is it just who? Objective or project or action? Yes. I do look at YouTube comments too. Is there some YouTube comments not coming through? Because I can't see them in my end.
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah. Well, what I wanted to add here was that we do have actually an item for the 1.5 degrees Celsius climate target, which is the target, because there's an article about the target on German Wikipedia. So, and that is one of the key things in the goals. And I'm going to add, where did I have that source? I did have a source for the goal. There we have. So here it says the 1.5 degrees. We'll use that as a source.
Regarding the YouTube comments, we can currently see all YouTube comments, but they are slightly delayed. But I have only seen comments from Nicholas so far.
Yeah.
Over there.
Right. So this is the last edit. I actually have a lot more I could do because I made an extensive research today because I was so in the mood. So I'm going to keep on editing while you take over.
Right.
And this might become a good item, or I don't think we're going to get to model item, but at least someone that is useful to look at later.
Nice. I'm gonna actually go straight to that item of yours because I think it's a great starting point for writing some queries around code. About 26, is it? Yes, it is. There we go. I want to start by getting this main instance off here because first thing I want to do in the query service is just make a list of this, make sure that we got the correct number, and that type of just quality check. Do as I usually do, make use the start query when I make the first version of it. DBT instance of and the queue number. Let's see, it cooked 26. We probably should have 26. Of course, we don't get 26. We got 27. Because of something, and I got that pop-up again, which is very annoying. There we go. Putting the label in here so we can see what's going on. Because as far as I know, we got one too much. Okay, 2012, 2009. Can I quickly just see what's going on here? Yeah, we got 2 for 2001. So let's see what those are about. So we got one 2021 United Nations Climate Change Conference in Bonn, and Deutsche one just a generic title. It was followed by the one in 2002 and follows the one in 2000, so no mention of this one. This one says it's followed by the former one. Okay, but in general, these do not have a lot of statements. This one only got a French article. This one
I
got.
was muted. Is that a special one? One of them
Um,
that like they had two 1 year perhaps?
I would imagine so.
Because it has two
Um,
French.
okay,
Oh, my
my
French is
French
not
is
good.
slightly questionable, but let's see. The Cartier Agreement. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Oh, this is interesting. Right. We actually get a bit of hint from the ones of us who do not read French get a bit of a hint here. So they are listing the various copes, but we can see that we got two cope 6. We got cope 6, the main one in year 2000, and then cope 6 bis, which I imagine is the second part of it, in 2001. So I think this is one that first happened in 2000, but then they needed to extend it and have the second one. So I wonder if the main one, which would be this one in... No, it would be the one in 2000.
Yeah.
Right, so let's go back. Let's have a look at that item and its Wikipedia article. So 2000. There we go. Let's have a look at the English Wikipedia and see what. And there is no English. Okay, but German I can actually manage. So that's because it's not too different from Swedish and Norwegian.
That was kind.
Yeah. Okay. I might have studied it for maybe 4 years. Let's see.
It says something in the end
Oh
there.
yeah, right. And it even seems like we got an article here. Oh yeah, so this wasn't connected to the Wikidata item, so at least we need to make a merge here. So this is an author one. Let's see that
Yeah.
Wikidata item.
And I like the name COP 6 Part 2 or 6.5. So reality is always more complex than how we like to model things.
Right. Yeah, here we see that this
Right.
do not have the same tag actually as the Orchard one. We do not have the same instance of. This is great because if you don't know it, actually this language links here are actually using Wikidata nowadays. So in case something do not share the same item, you can't navigate between languages. But here we actually got a reason to fix that. And that's not every day. Let's see. That's the German one. I'm gonna move it over here so you remember. And this is the French. So I can merge this, which got the higher number. The French got the lower number. And that's important because you usually only want to merge like the newer one into the older one and not the other way around. And to merge thing, I know there is a gadget for it, but I haven't gotten so far in life yet. So I'm gonna go to the special pages. Merge two items. And I want to merge from the higher ID, which is the German article, into the older French article. And that's it. Right. And I imagine it will complain over the German labels here. No, it didn't. It completely managed that. And yeah, it selected one of them. Okay. So let's see if there is something that looks odd. This is another example. So the Google Knowledge Graph ID now got 2 values here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because I believe this is actually based on Wikipedia to a certain
Probably.
extent. So they have duplicated because we haven't said that they are the same. So it's rather a side effect. Okay, but then the question again comes how to model this. Would one like to model it as just a regular COPE conference and said that it's followed by the one in what does it become? COPE 7, and it follows COPE 6, or is it this is part of COPE 6? I don't think that's.
I think it's part of,
You think it's part of?
because
Okay.
otherwise they wouldn't name the COP 7 but 8.
Right. Right. Yeah, and
So
I also
this,
think it's connected to like the goals they're talking about. So let's do the part of for the time being. And I think we might do a bit of reading in English Wikipedia as well and see if it has some type of cause that has caused this to be this way. I think the Bush administration did something, if I know my early life well. Let's see if I can use type code 6 here. I can't. Let's see, that's not it. It's the one in 2020, this one. That gives me a great opportunity to actually edit this and say
yeah.
COPE 6.
Yeah. So you also was on your button there. I usually click
Yeah,
add there.
indeed. It's a super great user script of mine, but maybe I should do something. Let's see, and I got way too many open. It's the one in Bonn. This one, and COPE 6 should know match. If I retype that, yes. And followed by no, because it's not one of the main ones. Okay, so that's a good start. I actually want to. It wasn't my intention, but I would like to improve this slightly because it's like a separate case right now. I also want to check, does it have the same instance of when it's just part of? Let's see if this is. Yeah, I think it's indeed that's correct. We also had this being known as a couple of things. We saw COPE 6 part 2. I saw it somewhere, and you saw COPE
COP 6.5.
6.5. So let's do that because I not think we're even just this isn't structured data, it's just a part of the description essentially. It's still signaling that this is a special case. And I had no English Wikipedia article to help me understand why this was the case. So I'm gonna head back to the German one. It's something about that. Okay. I'm not live translating. This is the US and the Kyoto. Yeah, it was something with the Bush administration. I knew it. Yeah, they weren't happy with the Kyoto Protocol. I think we can actually add a main subject here, which is isn't just climate change, because this second part is explicitly caused by the Kyoto Protocol itself. Can I spell it? No, I actually can't copy it.
What is the property?
Oh, that's the property as well. And let's find my way back. Those two are merged. I'm gonna close those for once. And here, main subject. There we go. There we go. Right. Okay, I think one can now find this item in with a similar query or some other way of discovery and understand why this is a separate case. And it was really nice that we could merge also two items that had Wikipedia articles. I think is it live if I reload this directly to languages? Okay, on the French one I can't even see them.
They're up in the top right.
Oh, right.
A little bit, a little bit lower.
I got the German here, which I can.
Yes.
So
there you got it.
Here we got it.
Yeah.
So here it says French. Right. Okay, that's good. Then I understand why it's 27. That makes a lot of sense. Let's see if how many of them that got that number of participants and see if we can see some change. I could imagine us making a line if that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure to what extent we got this to begin with.
I think we have at least 2. So you
okay.
Draw a line.
Yeah, I could. And brain freeze.
There you have it.
And I can say number because. Oh, no, we only got one.
Only one.
Oh, we learned something from that. We can actually do the Orchard one, which we do not have on the 2021, but I would imagine us having on a couple of Orchard one is participant. Why do I get this type of sorting? There we go. And I don't want to select that. I just want to make sure. If I would select this here and here, I would like duplicate the rows for each year. If there would be a participant, I just want to know, is there one to begin with? And maybe then I could look into maybe who's a famous person who have attended most of them or something like that. Oh, yeah, we got a couple of ones. 27, 25, 26, 2018. Then let's actually write those out here. Person. And I just want to do it like this. Let's see. Oh. That's interesting. That's not supposed to look like that. We discovered something else.
Yes.
Okay.
I think we can improve something here.
I mean, Greta might have been at 1, but United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change as a participant, that seems a little odd.
Yeah.
So let's start with this one and just look what's going on here. 26. 2006, what I'm saying. So it was the one
Yes.
in Nairobi.
That's just not right.
And location follows, followed by. Looks good. Participant.
I wonder if the label in some language is confusing because that seems like an odd mistake to make.
Indeed. And I think that this framework might be connected from this instance of item. Yeah, okay. So conference of the parties. Oh, now I see what they tried to do. So conference of the parties. So this is similarly modeled in a way that conference of the parties, which is just COPE. That's where
Yeah.
the COPE
Yeah.
shortcut comes from. And then that's a conference of the parties that are part of the United Nations Convention on Climate Change.
Mm-hmm.
I see what someone was thinking,
Mm-hmm.
but it's very confusing in my opinion.
Yeah.
Both this statement, because if we look at this item, let's see what that's actually about. I would imagine it being about the framework itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. The international treaty. Um, so for example, here I could imagine all the various parties being mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
and then I could see what someone meant. But I'm actually of the slightly bold opinion here that this should go away, as well as the participant here.
Yes, especially the participant.
Yeah, especially that. This one, in case one actually wants to model that type of information, I think you could do it on this item. Assembly, exactly. And yeah, do we have a English? So if I go to the English Wikipedia article, it might list the countries. No, it did not. And what small text?
Yes, but this is the concept with conference of the parties. You can have that for many treaties.
Okay, right.
So
It's
that's
yeah, indeed. It's even the even bigger concept.
yeah.
So it made even less sense than I imagined. Yeah, this is just the governing body of an international convention. Okay, that's it. And then the participants. Let's see. Maybe there should also be a qualifier of some kind too. I would like it to show a warning here actually. So let's see. Yes, I just want to remove that one. Want to head over here and open the two other ones. And I haven't gotten to do any visualizations yet. I want to open that for later. But for now, I just want to delete it. It's the core cause of the rabbit hole. And like that. And this was an instance of, let's see here, treaty. Okay, and do we have some type of like qualifier constraint here too? Type constraint, occurrence, fictional event, mythical event, agreement, cooperative. Oh, I imagine it wouldn't give a warning. No, this is on the type itself. Let's see. Allowed qualifier constraint? No, that's not it. Non-type. Let's see. No, this is
there's
odd.
there's no such constraints there.
No, there is no such constraint at all. So this is the constraint for which instance of like the main item which you would find it on, but not what it can point to. And this is used for the qualifiers.
What
Do
does
you
it
have?
say in the top? Does it say
Yeah, it
person
says
or organization?
person, group of people, so on.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So that's something we could add.
Indeed, especially because it's mentioned in the description here.
Yeah.
Okay, and I just closed the tab, ended up on a different one, and what hit me here was this. We got the two images just duplicated, and why we like to have as many statements as possible. This type of duplication is suboptimal.
Yeah. You have a
It
warning there. What's that?
We got a warning here as well.
Aha.
Exactly. This is super nice. So we have a constraint here which looks for the word logo in the file name, and if it finds the logo in
Yeah.
the file name, it says, "Hey, this should
It
be in the
worked.
logo image." And not only did it work, but it spotted the same thing as I did when I used
Yeah.
browse here. So I can also see that this was imported. So I would imagine
Yeah.
a bot. A
Yeah.
bot saw that this Wikipedia article had an image, but ignored the fact that it already had a logo image. Bots are great, but they are not always smart. Okay, so accidental edit, but still improvement. Let's see if the cache is already So
All right.
okay, no more timeline or such a thing for me in that regard. What is something else we could query slightly quick? That's not the one I'm after.
Could you just plot them on a timeline?
I could. That's a good one. So we can do, I think this is usually start time, and then we go item, and time. I think that should be enough for visualization, theoretically. Let's see. Timeline. Yay! It worked. It's slightly tricky to follow on this, but we can see a bit of a gap as well, because we jumped it 1 year. We can see here that we're missing a couple of years.
Yes.
If I'm
You
not
only got
mistaken.
17 results, so
And I only got 17 results.
Some might use point in time, perhaps.
Yeah, we can actually just replace that here. And pop-ups.
I sort of agree with Nicholas here. Histropedia prefer for timelines, of course. Those are beautiful, but you need to switch tools. That's the downside.
Exactly. We got a bit of a integrated thing here, which I like. I also really like the Histropedia ones, but they aren't as stable as well, in my opinion. Okay, here we only got 14 results. But we got a couple of ones in the time span that we were missing. So they are kind of overlapping.
Yeah. So some of these have both, I guess, because 14 plus 17 is more than 26.
Exactly. And I still think there's some missing here. I think there's one here that's missing. It looks like it.
Yeah.
It raises interesting questions about Wikidata's data model in general, I believe. But okay, we did get to do a bit of plotting. I also want to do just a second plot. Just a second plot. We had us editing just earlier here. PDT, I want to use the generic location one.
Oh, yes.
Oops. So I imagine some having the coordinate location, but I think location is slightly more generic. And I want to select the coordinate location of the location, rather. And there we go. Chord, we can call that. And chord. Let's do a quick map. We should have a couple of duplicates. We got 24. Oh, all do not even have location then. Because I imagine this would actually give us duplicates, for example, for the current one. So if I zoom in on Glasgow, we can see that we got both the city Glasgow and the convention center. Here's the convention center, and here's the Glasgow's central location. So a couple of conferences do not even have location. And if we zoom out, we can see a bit of a pattern. Most of it is in Europe. Here I imagine we got another one of those cases where 2017. Oh,
it's been in Bonn twice.
okay, it has been in Bonn twice. No, it has been in Bonn 3 times.
All right.
Oh, it wasn't a duplication. It was just, it's popular to have it in Bonn. I learned something today. I learned a ton of things today. Okay, and with that, we got to do a bit of visualization, but in general, just using the query service, trying to figure things out, discovering more and more things to edit. I could probably, if I would have continued to do a ton of visualizations like this, I would have been stuck here for hours improving upon things. We just showcase how good the query service is and how important it is for volunteers and editors in general.
All right. So I think that's what we got for today. We haven't really decided something for next week yet, but we have been thinking about maps, I believe. So it might be something around that.
I think it's maps next week. Saying that out loud. So let's hope that Jan also.
Yeah. Some people are doing this 30 days of maps challenge online as well right now. So it's sort of also on some theme.
Exactly. We did that last year. So continuing and starting a tradition here.
Yeah. And I guess with that, thank you for today. And Nicholas, have a wish. It seems. Oh, but that brings us to a thing that we should give a tip about.
Indeed.
A new tool, which is called the Lexeme Challenge. Thank you for that, Nicholas. Let's see if I can dig out the URL for this.
Lexemes around Cope was actually my fallback ID for today.
Yes. So I'll put this into. This is a tricky. I'll put this into all chats here. It might not go out to everyone, so I'll also make a banner, but it's a bit of a long text, so it might be hard, but let's put it up there at least, and I'll also share this screen. Perhaps I could do. Let's quickly jump over here. Oh, and now you also see what I did here. While you were editing, I added main regulatory text Paris Agreement for this part. This was up for review. Right. And of course, it's caused by the global warming. They did have a motto this year, and I added that it was opened by Boris Johnson.
Right.
So a few things there I added. But here's a really cool tool created by User Envir, I think is the name. And it works in the way that a number of items are selected as sort of the concepts that this challenge is about. And then the challenge is to make lexemes that are connected through the senses, either through the item for the sense or predicate for those two properties we have to connect from senses to items. And if they have such a connection, it will show up here. So here we see that Bengali has a noun which is connected to the United Nations item. Envel, thank you. And similar here, we can see that Bokmål has a lexeme call, even two lexemes that are connected to the coal. So this one is going on right now. You can see in the top, it's COP26, 1 of 2. So it's a 2-week conference. So we get 2 weeks of challenge. And in this first, that's going on until I think on Monday morning somewhere it stops. And then the new one starts at 12 o'clock on Monday. So we have United Nations, climate change, global warming, greenhouse effect, greenhouse gas, carbon dioxide, and coal. And you can see if they're 100%, you get a gold medal, and then 80%, it's a silver medal. So the challenge is to get a language to gold, of course. And here we see a count, how many gold and stuff we have. And it's not a challenge between users, which is nice. So we collaborate to get us up there. And then there's a most improved table here. So it checks how did it look when we started the week and how will it look in the end. So we see Spanish had, I guess, 0 before, and now they have linked 8. 8 is quite good because it's only 7 concepts. But sometimes you have synonyms, so that works. Oh, you can even see here, they didn't have 0, I guess, because here they have more than... So they probably had 1 or 2. Now they have several.
Right.
Oh, and Swedish is not even on the list here. We have to do something, Albin.
I saw that. I saw that Bokmål needed a bit of help as well.
Yeah.
I might.
But this one is it's a really fun tool that's up and running, and there's a process for adding new. No, I have to hide this one. Where is the link? Yes, here is the link. So the documentation here in the top links to a page on Wikidata, which specifies what things what you need to do to have something. And there are some tips. Here's some rules for it, and it's mostly just contact this user and say, I want to do something, and you will probably work something out.
Right. That's great that it's open as well like that.
Yes, I really like it. And I like because I have been trying to do some of this before, and just counting and stuff like that, if you don't have tooling for it, that's not fun at all. No. And there's some tooling, and now I guess the maintenance of this is just putting in new challenges, and then everything else just pops out.
Exactly. So before you could do similar challenges, and I think we have had a couple of similar challenges, but someone has been needing to actually count edits and make queries and do it rather manually. So great.
And this is also seems like very functional, where you can see progress and stuff like that. Very fun.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Do check this one out, and also have in mind challenges you could do yourself, because I guess it's easy in the beginning with ideas, but after a while, after some weeks, we know that we do this for 60 episodes. Sometimes it's hard to come up with new ideas after a while.
Yeah, and on that note, if you got a tool out there or know about a tool which you think that we should highlight, please let us know. that is always super great. We're always looking for new things to show off, and
Yeah.
this is really a community space where we want to being able to do that for a volunteer developer as well.
Yeah. Indeed. And I guess with that, we say until next week, happy
Until
editing.
next week.